We begin the day with the troops Trump wants where he wants them. National Guard troops from Texas are now in the state of Illinois on the outskirts of Chicago. U.S. President Trump requested they be deployed to battle violent crime. Illinois' governor and Chicago's mayor want them to leave and are suing. Now, the troops are federalized National Guard members from Texas, some also from Illinois, and Trump claims they are needed to quell violent crime in America's third largest city. Now, there have been protests in Illinois against Trump's crackdown on immigration. Today, Trump said the Chicago mayor and the governor of Illinois should be put in jail for failing to protect immigration, ICE officers. Trump has also threatened to invoke an anti-insurrection law to sidestep any court orders blocking him. Well, I'm joined now by Paul Anthony Gowder. He's a professor of law at Northwestern University's School of Law, just near Chicago. Professor, it's good to have you with us. A U.S. president calls for the governor and the mayor to be put in prison. Can you explain to our viewers what is going on?
I can try, but in all honesty, I think most of us in the U.S. are shocked, dismayed, and confused by what is going on as well. I mean, clearly there is no legal ground whatsoever to put either the governor or the mayor in prison. The claim that Mr. Trump made was that they should be in prison for failing to protect ICE agents, but that's problematic for two reasons. One, of course, is that they have actually been protecting ICE agents. Governor Pritzker sent the state police to create a cordon between the main ICE facility in Illinois and protesters to avoid violence. And number two, of course, is that our Constitution prohibits the federal government from ordering around state law enforcement. That is a well-established principle that goes to the sovereignty of individual states in our federal system. And so I can only describe Mr. Trump's threat online as yet another, frankly, bid for dictatorial power.
Well, I mean, Texas has its National Guard, but Illinois also has its own National Guard troops. Why aren't they doing the job that President Trump says needs to be done instead of Texas?
Well, so there's a lot of unclarity in the law about what exactly happens when the president tries to recruit a state's National Guard and the governor of the state says no. This is largely unprecedented because normally the federal and the state governments have a cooperative relationship. But because Mr. Trump is essentially trying to create chaos in the streets, Governor Pritzker is unwilling to participate in his efforts to federalize the Illinois National Guard.
Well, if I understood this correctly, so Illinois' governor has not requested any National Guard troops to be deployed, and President Trump, he has not ordered Texas National Guard troops to go to Illinois. He has requested that they do this, and they have complied. Is that correct?
But technically, yes, that is correct. As I understand it, Texas is loaning its National Guard essentially to the president while still nominally under the command of the state of Texas. And the reason for that, and again, I could be mistaken about the specific legal authority because I haven't seen the paperwork, but there are different regulations that apply depending on whether they're operating directly under federal authority or operating on loan from the state. And in particular, some people think that the Posse Comitatus Act, which forbids the federal military from participating in law enforcement, doesn't apply if the National Guard is under the command of a state governor.
Okay. Let me just ask you, Professor, you live in the state of Illinois. You live there near or in Chicago. Tell me, do you need National Guard troops to protect you against crime?
Absolutely not. Not only do we not need National Guard troops to protect against crime, it's actually unconstitutional for a separate reason for the federal government to be participating in ordinary crime control. Our Constitution, as interpreted by our Supreme Court for 30 years, has been clear that the federal government doesn't have authority over ordinary day-to-day law enforcement in the states. It can't run around, policing carjackings and muggings or whatnot, even if we needed it, which we don't.
So we've seen similar actions in Los Angeles, also in D.C. When does President Trump cross the Rubicon here? I mean, is there a point when the U.S. will find itself in a constitutional crisis or perhaps something even worse?
Frankly, the United States has been in a constitutional crisis for a while now. On my view, it was in a constitutional crisis the moment that planes left for El Salvador carrying alleged gang members who had been deported into a prison without trial, which is itself clearly unconstitutional. A few days ago, ICE agents carried out a military-style attack on an apartment building in the city of Chicago, rappelling from helicopters and breaking down over 100 doors without, as far as one can tell, any kind of a search warrant, arresting over 100 people, detaining them without any individual suspicion about their immigration status and forcing them to prove their papers.
Well, Professor,
the constitutional crisis is here.
Let me ask you this, though. There are residents in high crime neighborhoods in Chicago who have been polled, they've been asked about this, and they welcome the presence of these troops. They say that the police have not been doing their job.
I think that that's a small number of people. I agree that there's always more to be done to control crime. How you actually control crime, of course, is a difficult policy problem. But the simple fact of the matter is that day-to-day crime control is, in our constitutional system, the responsibility of the states, not the federal government. That's a basic principle of our constitutional order.
Okay. Professor Gowder, from the Northwestern School of Law, we appreciate your time and your insights tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.